President Tinubu has lost the plot. He's lost control of his own government, which he hasn't had time to put together to start with. And he cannot.
Hello and what's up, guys? In this video, things have taken a dramatic turn as a respected Yoruba elder has fired straight shots at President Tinubu, describing his leadership as a mistake and warning that Nigeria is heading into dangerous territory if something isn't done urgently. Now, let's get straight into it. According to this elder, Nigeria right now is like a ship drifting in the middle of the ocean with no direction, no compass, and a captain who can't even find the bridge. He claims the government has completely lost control, not just in security, but in economy, culture, sports, and even basic administration. In his words, nothing is working and nothing is improving. He went further to say that what we are witnessing today in 2025 was not planned, not anticipated, and definitely not the direction the administration promised Nigerians. Instead of long-term strategy, he accuses the government of waking up every day just reacting to disasters, both locally and internationally. And guys, he didn't stop there. He said Nigerians are dealing with a government that behaves like it was never ready to lead, a government that still hasn't properly assembled itself, yet expect people to remain patient. He added that every failure, inflation, unemployment, insecurity, global reputation has become worse than it was before. Now, here is where it gets even more shocking. When asked if the opposition is simply taking advantage of the situation, the elder hit back hard. He said if the government thinks critics are benefiting from the country's misfortune, then maybe the government should reduce the number of misfortunes it keeps producing. Then came the bombshell. He described Tinubu administration as a mistake that has left Nigeria in the wilderness, not the country, but the administration itself. And he insisted that Nigerians deserve a captain who can steer the nation, not one who is confused, overwhelmed, and unable to explain his own failures. On the issue of America and foreign intervention, he warned that Nigeria has become so badly managed that world powers are now debating the country like it is on the verge of collapse. In his view, the government has allowed things to get so bad that even the international community is losing confidence. And if things continue like this, foreign intervention might become unavoidable but also dangerous. He added that while the US is offering cooperation and intelligence support, there is nothing new about that. The real problem, according to him, is that the Nigerian government is too slow, too disorganized, and too distracted to take advantage of the help it already has. He even revealed that during his personal interactions with foreign leaders, lawmakers, and diplomats in London and Washington, many of them openly asked why Nigeria's leadership is failing so badly. They want to cooperate, but they see a government that behaves like it isn't ready for the job. Guys, this elder didn't hold back at all. He says Nigeria is not a failed country, but it is being run by a failed government under Tinubu. He says that the danger now is that non-state actors has infiltrated parts of the government, insecurity keep rising, and citizens have been patient for far too long. According to him, the situation has become an existential threat, something that could lead to chaos if nothing changes. And one more thing, he said the temperature has not reduced. One statement from any world leader, even a single tweet, could raise global tension around Nigeria again. Guys, I will let you watch this video for yourself so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. Take a look, guys, and remember to share your thoughts after watching.
You are one of those who have expressed very sharp opinions about where we are right now as a country, against the backdrop of America's interests regarding what's happening in the country. I mean, a couple of weeks down the line, what do you make of where we are right now? Because over the past couple of weeks, you've asked the president to either take charge of the situation or resign. But it's safe to say that he's not going to do the latter. But what do you make of where Nigeria is right now as a country?
Well, it's still rudderless from the point of view of governance, and primary duties of the different tiers of government still lie unattended to. And the dire situation that our people find themselves, or we all find ourselves, remains unchanged. There are indications that the government has lost its map and is just waking up every day reacting to any new incident or the umbrage, whether local or international. There is no rational observer who would say, this is the trajectory of where the Tinubu presidency was headed to. What is happening in November 2025 was what they planned in November 2024 that will be happening in November 2025.
They being who?
President Tinubu has lost the plot. He's lost control of his own government, which he hasn't had time to put together to start with. And he cannot say, however much you speak for the government, you cannot say that where they are now in 2025 was where they plan to be when they were planning a year ago or 2 years ago. They definitely are in the wilderness. And if the captain of the ship cannot find his way to the bridge, and he is not able to locate where the ship is situated, he cannot determine the direction the ship is going, he has no control over the speed of the sail, the passengers on that ship are entitled to a new captain, or they give up on that ship, and you cannot give up on Nigeria. So it is easier to say that we have a bad government in a good country than to say we have a bad country. Because I know that this country, if well managed, is second to none.
Prince, how do you react to people who say people in your category, members of the opposition, are exploiting this particular misfortune that Nigeria is going through under the stewardship of the Tinubu administration to make a political point? Do you consider your commentary helpful regarding what is playing out?
Well, if the president wants to be helped, from what we say, he can pick up enough help. But if you say we are making capital of the misfortune, then they are producing too many misfortunes. Because if you think that the opposition is taking advantage of your misfortune, then you should reduce the amount of misfortune you have. You can't fail in every aspect, both critical, primary, basic, even tertiary. You fail in security, you fail in economy, you fail in culture, you fail in sports, even sports. It's not something basic. So you fail in everything, and you don't expect that people are going to remark on those failures. Are you saying that a community with people run scatter, where even you, people in your administration, don't feel safe, where even the community you come from doesn't feel safe, and the vast resources of Nigeria are located in the northern part of Nigeria. The entire north is closer to Somalia than it is close to what Nigeria used to be. So you cannot Afghanize your own country and expect people to sing your praises. You cannot take every index that you met and make it worse. Unemployment is worse. Inflation is worse. Security is worse. International profile of the country is worse. You either don't have the competence to appoint ambassadors, or you can't find competent ambassadors to appoint. Either side of the coin is a failure. So you can't police the state. You can't secure the state. You fail. You don't even have enough mental capacity to explain your failure.
So is it my understanding that you believe the Americans are right for speaking about Nigeria the way they speak about it in the Congress? President Trump's comments about Nigeria being a disgraced country, I mean, he re-echoed it again just yesterday. You think that's a fair characterization of
I don't agree with President Trump of the United States that we're a disgraced country, but he's speaking the language of international diplomacy. When you see the president of a country, you say, oh, Nigeria is here. So what he meant is that the Tinubu administration is a disgraced government.
Is it?
Yes, that's
Is
what
that not an oversimplification?
No, because Nigeria is not a disgrace. Nigeria is not a failure. But it's like when 11 people are on the field playing for Nigeria, and if they concede 2 goals, they will say Nigeria 2-0 against Nigeria. It doesn't mean that all of us are on the field playing, but they are representing Nigeria. President Tinubu on the international stage represents Nigeria, and his scorecard is disgraceful. So those who are outside, they don't see you, they don't see me, they see the government of the day. And the government of the day, if you look at it, it's a failure in every aspect that is important. Right. So the counterpart overseas is entitled to say that this country has failed because the government that they see the secret of the government, they see what the government ought to see that it cannot see, they see the gap, the yawning gap on the international space that the leadership of the country ought to fill. And when they don't see them, they say they're a failure. But it doesn't mean that we, so all of us, are a failure because it's not evaluating all of us, it's evaluating the government of the day.
Right. So this past week, the federal government, through the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, hinted at how the interest from America, for instance, has played a role in the heightened insecurity that we've seen over the last couple of days. The attacks in Kebbi, the attacks in Kwara, the attacks in Naija, the several attacks that we've seen, the resurgence of Boko Haram attacks in the northeast, for instance. Do you understand how that statement could be a reflection of the truth? Because it's been a while before.
It is like
we've seen attacks happen so rapidly.
It is like a goalkeeper saying that the attacker or striker from the other side is shooting the ball too fast. That's an admission of failure. Your job is to catch the ball. So, whether the attack is coming from within or from without, your responsibility is to stop the attacks. And every tool in the world that you need to stop the attacks is given to you. And on every occasion, at every opportunity, at every juncture, you fail to use these tools for what they are meant to be used constitutionally. Nigeria has enough money, enough manpower, enough institutional experience in the military, enough association and friendships all over the world, enough technological and scientific and other skills within Nigeria to defend this beautiful country.
You don't believe there's any explanation that makes sense as to why Nigeria is struggling with the scale of insecurity that we're dealing with right now?
The explanation that makes sense is that we have a failed government. Simple.
That's it.
That's it. There's no other way. Because the kind of challenge or challenges that we are facing is 1/10 of the one Ukraine, 1% of the one Ukraine is facing, or other countries facing. Even America itself is constantly
under... It's safe to say that Ukraine has the kind of support that Nigeria doesn't. I mean, it has the support of Europe, it has the support of the United States.
Where Ukraine is today, and where it will be tomorrow, and where it was yesterday, all of it is a reflection of the kind of leadership he has at every point in time. If he had a leadership that is more serious than the one you have now, even the war will not happen. And if he has one that is not as strong as you have now, they will have fallen long ago. Let us understand something clearly. The job of the government of a country is to secure that country. And you need resources to do so. And when those resources are available to you, you have no excuse to give. Why stay on the job? Some of the reasons they are giving, the job is tough, it's unpredictable, those are reasons you give when you're resigning. Those are not reasons you give when you're on the job. So if you bring a security guard to your house and he says, oh, the gate is too heavy, the intruders are too many, he will be telling you that on his way out, why I can't do the job. You cannot say that you do not know or you did not know in 2023 when you were saying it's your turn, that you did not know that it was your turn to fight Boko Haram. It was your turn to fix the economy. It's your turn to grow the potentials of the country. It's your turn to represent the country internationally. It's your turn to make Nigerians happy. If it's just your turn to occupy the seat and nothing more, then you have taken that turn, you need to go away. Because the discussions we are having are not surrounding things that are optional. We're not discussing subsidy, price increase. We are discussing life or death. We are discussing the continuity of the country or a fracture.
You think this is an existential threat in your view?
Of course it is. Two problems we have. Problem number one, non-state actors have infiltrated the government. The government is absent-minded, absent from duty. Now, it's also deceiving itself, politicking away to elongate its tenure, even though it cannot do the basic function. Now, so those are problems. And the citizens have been coping. They should have been on the street long ago, but I do not recommend that. I recommend that you should be patient. But our people have been overly patient. Now, the disturbance in the country is now causing international concern to the point where world powers are debating whether to take over the whole thing as if we're not a going concern. And the manner of their intervention, the angulation of the argumentation, is suggesting that they have a particular section of their population that they feel sympathetic towards. And that is going to create internal alienation in the country.
So any international intervention, in your view, could be counterproductive?
Any international intervention will be counterproductive if the government of the day remains as sluggish as it is today.
Right.
Because international intervention is required. Don't be deceived.
Okay. The latest
you have to be in charge of it.
Yeah. The latest development we have on this is that, as you know, a Nigerian delegation has been in the United States over the past week. The National Security Advisor has been meeting with government officials in the US. He has met with the Secretary of the Department of War, Pete Hegseth, and according to the presidency, in a statement that was pushed out earlier in the day, they say that the United States government has affirmed its readiness to deepen security cooperation with Nigeria to help strengthen security partnership between the two countries and open new avenues for cooperation to protect citizens. So it seems like we have a silver lining here. Instead of America taking on this role of big brother, it is willing to work with Nigeria and share intelligence, which may likely bring an end to the insecurity that we're dealing with. Isn't this a happy ending in your view?
There's no ending yet. There is nothing to be happy about yet. There are three problems in these third statements. One, what they say the United States government is willing to do, ready to do, is what they've always been ready to do, and they have been doing. Many of the platforms our armed forces are using come from the United States or from the allies of the United States who would ordinarily not give these platforms to us except the United States agrees. The Super Tucano that was sold to President Buhari during Trump's first term is a mark of U.S. willingness to cooperate, unlike in the Obama days, where Obama was, to my view, unfairly and unreasonably non-cooperative with the government of President Goodluck Jonathan, because they were political about it. They would become partisan in Nigerian politics. Now, so the U.S. under Trump has always been willing to help. But it's like trying to carry a child that refuses to raise up his hands. Or you are dragging them and kicking and screaming. The government, until this fire hose is turned against them, did not take this matter seriously. It was business as usual, and they had gotten comfortable with the business of the commercial aspect of insecurity, the making of money and turning things over, and trading in insecurity and taking as a status quo. So some of the fire brigade approach that they're using now has always been available to them. Even if you would not choose ambassadors all over the world, you will choose ambassadors to the United States, to the United Kingdom, to Russia, to China, to France, to every member of the Security Council of the United Nations. Common sense. If you can't do that, there's no reason why you should be calling yourself President of Nigeria. So you may choose not to send an ambassador to Estonia or some other country, but you cannot fail to send ambassadors to Germany, to other places where you have your core business people. India, for for example. You cannot fail to do that. You have to send a high commissioner to India. So you didn't do that. Now you are sending a national security advisor to go and have discussions with people who, as a member of opposition, as a known politician in Nigeria, when I go to Washington, these same people have discussions with me. I cannot last 2, 3, or 4 days in Washington or London or anywhere. Once they know I'm around, there will be the ambassador or somebody who will say, oh, you are a leader of a party in Nigeria, we want to talk about your country.
Yeah, and Prince,
so what is special about that?
With your connections, are people like you, would you say people like you in the opposition are helping in trying to de-escalate the situation? Or are you milking it? Because there are high-profile members of the opposition who only voice their thoughts in condemnation or in criticism of the Tinubu administration. But during this past couple of weeks, with all the tension, the heightened tension between Nigeria and the United States, would you say that people like you in the opposition have used your contacts, your connections in the international scene to de-escalate the situation? Or have you just been bystanders laughing at the misery of the Tinubu administration?
We can't be bystanders because it's our country. It's not Tinubu's country. Tinubu is a mistake. The country is the reality. Number one, I've been to the House of Lords. I've been to London and talked to people there. You can't say, nobody can say, do they have a Nigerian intelligence agency to give them reports? Nobody can say, I spoke against the country. I've been speaking to the Americans for a long time. I've never spoken against the country. So we speak for the country. But we cannot deny the fact that what is obvious to the people you are talking to, if you don't want to lose credibility, is that they know you don't have a proper government at home, a government that behaves like a government. So they will ask you, what can you do to make things better? Because they too, in some areas, want a better partner to deal with at home. I was in London 2 weeks ago. I was admitted to the House of Lords. I sat with them in their proceedings. They talked about Nigeria. After that, we had dinners, lunches, where they were raising people to talk about Nigeria. What do you think about this? You must have seen my intervention, my opinion in the Independent of the UK. You've seen some of my intervention in the media, international media. I've always been supportive of my country. I've always said, do not invade Nigeria. Do not throw bombs into Nigeria. Try as much as possible to cooperate with the government that is in Nigeria. They have shortcomings. They are not a serious set of people. But remember that there's a long-standing relationship between Nigeria and your country, and you should expand your interaction with members of the civil society, with the opposition, and all of that, and to see that overall, we're not treated like a banana republic, even though we have an amateur government in power now, but we are a regional power in our own right. And I reminded them of the role we played in Sierra Leone, in Liberia, in Sudan, in Lebanon, in Congo, in many places. So we deserve respect, and they understand that. But they have Tinubu's administration, unless you abandon your work and start impersonating the membership of their government, which I'm not, you cannot lay their bed for them. They will scatter it by themselves. They're not orderly. So, for example, they have a diplomatic problem. They are making it look like public communication problem. So they are sending argumentative, loquacious, loquacious people to go on foreign media and annoy everybody. Instead of going to Washington, go to London, go to Paris, go to Moscow, go to Delhi, go to Beijing, and start to talk softly to people, try to use relationships of people. Forget about position. You can say maybe we're going to sabotage you along the way. You have people who are neutral in the country. You have experts, you have retired ambassadors. You have a whole institute of international affairs. I've spoken to people there. Nobody's talking to them. It does seem
like the temperature is coming down a bit, doesn't it?
The temperature cannot come down. The rhetoric, just one tweet from Trump is going to send a high blood pressure.
But you saw the session in the committee session in the U.S. Congress.
Yes.
There apparently are a lot of lawmakers on both the Democratic and Republican side who don't think that a military intervention is what Nigeria needs at the moment.
They are speaking in the interest of America. They don't want their troops to die. They don't want their money to be wasted. What is going on in our National Assembly is what we should pay attention to, which is nothing is going on other than theater. What is going on in the U.S. Congress is for the benefit of America. The intervention of Trump is partly humanitarian and partly domestic politics because of the American Christian right. And there's nobody who has any knowledge of the sentiments in the United States, who will not tell you that they've given us enough warning on this subject. I have attended congressional meetings, Congress-related meetings, pressure group meetings in Washington, hosted to discuss with me the plight of Christians in Nigeria. There have been sessions I've attended over the years. When I get there, they will always ask me, why are they killing Christians in the country? I give explanation. I explain to them that there is no intention of the Muslim community in Nigeria to kill Christians, but it's true, Christians are being killed. A lot of their churches are being burned down, displaced, but you also see that a lot of non-Christians are being killed. But they are focused on Christians because that is the intervention that they want to make. And when President Buhari went to see President Trump during President Trump's first term, he had not allowed President Buhari to sit in the White House for 10 seconds before he says, why are you killing Christians in your country? And subsequently, I get inquiries about it. Every media, I was with BBC as a guest. They forgot about what they called me for. They were asking me about the killing of Christians. They were showing me maps. So there is data showing that Christians are being killed.
But do you think there's correlation between the narrative or rhetoric on the international scene and what is playing out domestically? Because we see a lot of embellishment with the data, for instance. And
you cannot use embellishment when you are talking about human life. If 50 people were killed and somebody goes to write 500 people were killed, it makes no difference. The fact that 5 people were killed...
but the scale and intensity says different...
A country that wants to succeed does not argue that kind of argument. This is Tinubu's kind of argument. Makes no sense. To say
the numbers don't matter.
If your house is caught fire and somebody goes to report your house got burned down, you cannot argue only half of my house is burned down. That's not seek help. Your house shouldn't be burned down in the first place.
Right.
The way Nigerians are being killed like chicken. If there is another country where birds are dying like that, or dogs are dying like that, the international community will ask, why are dogs dying like this in this country? So, not talk of human life. It is not a responsible argument from a government communication point of view to argue with people who are reporting real tragedies in your country. If people were killed in Cameroon and they reported that people were killed in Nigeria, you can argue and say, no, those people were killed in Cameroon, not in Nigeria. But if people are killed in Nigeria, ignore the exaggeration. Deal with the killing. Because when the killing goes away,
right,
the exaggeration will go away.
Okay.
So that is why nobody has ever exaggerated that Nigeria is frozen up with snow. Because snow doesn't fall here. So anything that happens in any country will be exaggerated. In America, there's police killing of black people. And when you talk to Americans about it, they don't see it as often as when we see it from outside. So anything that happens in your country that becomes a pattern is liable to occasionally or periodically suffer exaggeration.
Right.
But the root cause is what you need to deal with, which the government is failing to deal with, and it's getting worse by the day.
All right. Talk to me about the response of the administration, because we've seen deployments. The Chief of Army Staff had been in Kebbi when the 25 or so schoolgirls were abducted. We've seen the deployment of the Minister of State for Defense. We've seen the President's position on withdrawal of police officers, personnel attached to VIPs, which I would love for you to comment on. But generally speaking, regarding the government's response, we've seen the return of the Eruku church goers kidnapping. All 38, we understand, have been safely rescued and returned. 50 of the 300 plus students in the Naija abduction have reportedly been returned, or at least have escaped their captivity and returned. What do you make of the response, especially on the military and police front so far? And the president's call for the withdrawal of what many believe would be hundreds of thousands of police personnel guarding people like you, for instance, sometimes.
I don't have police guarding me. However, what I can let you know is number one, nothing's wrong with the armed forces. They have the wrong commander-in-chief, full stop.
The wrong commander-in-chief?
Yes. The President Tinubu...
He was the elected commander-in-chief?
Yeah, you can elect the wrong person. You can buy the wrong shoe that doesn't fit your feet. So the issue is you can use some money to buy the wrong food or have food poisoning. The problem facing Nigeria today is that the commander-in-chief is not a good commander-in-chief. He can make a good commander-in-chief out of himself if he wants to, but he's neglecting that mission. Now, I'm happy that he also knows that he doesn't have to go all over the world on fashion parade, that he can actually sit at home, go to the Situation Room, and interact with.
Isn't that what he's been doing? I mean, he didn't go to South Africa. He shelved some of his international engagement to stay back home.
We are talking of episodic, reactive actions. You're not talking of systematic work of a commander-in-chief. I saw a picture of the president talking with the chief of army. As commander-in-chief, that's not how I'm going to do it. So he needs to take a cue from, talk to previous commanders-in-chief. Bangida, quite articulate, talk to him. Talk to Obasanjo, no matter your political disagreement with him, regarding how to be a better commander-in-chief. Because I did all of those things, preparing myself to be a commander-in-chief. He's not commanding the armed forces properly. He's not interacting with them.
What is he not doing? I mean, it's safe to say you and I are not in the room, but we've heard from...
What he is not doing is that is not part of the work they are doing. He's insular. He's different from them. It's not what I know.
He's not a soldier. I don't know.
No, please. Yeah. The office is that of a soldier. The day you are elected as commander-in-chief, as president, and you take that oath, you are a soldier. For the period of your service as commander-in-chief, you are number one warrior. Commander-in-chief is a military post. So in other countries, like in England, they have a commander-in-chief who is a full military. So commander-in-chief under our constitution is given to the president because we want...
I mean, in principle, not in practice.
No. Right? Every commander-in-chief before him did better than him. So the worst commander-in-chief until he came was President Buhari. So, and then President Tinubu even made everything worse. So you cannot say you don't understand. He's the one who appoints the service chiefs. And the service chiefs now deploy all the senior commanders. So he's running the armed forces.
Right.
So, if he doesn't know how to recruit people, how to organize the cadre, how to assess leadership, if you don't have attention, and you don't pay attention to this kind of work, which is number one work for you, if he doesn't know the country sector by sector, if he's not engaging the troops, if he's not interacting with them, if they have problems that he doesn't know, if he's not using his international clout to get them platforms, to work with them, and to actually do the real work. And if you notice, in the last 3 weeks, he's been behaving like he now knows that there's a job called Commander-in-Chief. And he's making belated and quite substandard attempt to do the work, but he's facing the work. If he is serious like that for 2 more months, 3 more months, maybe he will blend with the service chiefs.
Right.
Maybe he would understand the operational order. Nothing done in the armed forces that's not done with the authority of the commander-in-chief. So he needs to do that. Okay. The amount of time he spent taking photos with the campaign governors and all of that, if he went to visit the troops, the wounded soldiers, goes to the military hospitals where they're located, talk to them. I talk to, and I don't want to embarrass them or implicate them, but I talk to the members of the armed forces all the time. Wherever I see them, what is going on, what is happening, and I see that they are dedicated. If you talk to, I was speaking about Ikewachuku just 4 days ago, and I was concerned as to, I wanted to know from him whether he thought that the military officers we have now are inferior to the one of his time, or are they as good? He confirmed that they are good. So the armed forces hasn't broken down.
The president is the leadership.
The leadership.
The problem is the leadership.
Is the leadership, and that leadership is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces.
All right.
He is the one that is the problem with the armed forces.
Your quick response to the order for the withdrawal of police personnel from VIPs.
Who defines VIP? Everybody.
There are a lot of private citizens who
defines VIP.
Police officers.
It is part. Look, when I was growing up, if you are standing and the policeman is behind you, it means you are a criminal. You are under arrest. But it's become part of the fashion accessory that they do now. It is up to him how he wants to handle his armed forces and the police and the services. They are there. They are dedicated. We interact
so
with
you
them.
commend his move?
I don't commend any move because I have not seen the proper operational order about how he's going to handle the police. You are saying you have to take care of the police. If you cannot do it, remember how MD Yusuf took care of his police. Remember the relationship between Sunday Adewusi and the Nigerian police and the government of the day. You have to weave properly your police. You have to take care of them. You don't be ordering them up and down. You have to see that they don't stay on the street to collect 20 naira from motorists, that you paid their welfare, you monitor them, you discipline them when you need to, you show them that they matter, and you don't just drive past them when you are going. You give them proper honor. All these window dressing kind of order that we haven't even seen the detail of the order, it's just an announcement. And if you see the person who announced it, it doesn't show to you that it's a serious matter, because the spokesperson for the president, he is talking about police deployment. That is an indication that this government has got everything upside down.
So you don't think this is going to happen? You think this is not going to change anything?
It is not relevant. It's a distraction. Number one, there is the Minister of Police Affairs, there's Police Service Commission, there's the Inspector General of Police. Anything pertaining to police deployment, they will make their... You think you're a policeman, you are standing with somebody, and Mr. Bayo Nanuga, another statesman in his own right, but now writing anything he likes to write, is going to issue a press release and you immediately abandon your post. No, police doesn't work that way. Police works by deployment, operational order. They will see the signal. So you are in the media and you are not a lazy journalist. Have you seen a signal?
I mean, I don't have internal memos, but we know that
when police...
The announcement is a part of the directive.
When police issue their signal, you must have a correspondent here that is looking after the police. I have a media house and they have a person who deals with the police.
Is grandstanding?
The presidency is lost.
Okay.
President Tinubu has to find his own presidency back. He needs to go alone in the room.
Okay.
Stay alone and ask himself, when I said it is my turn, what did I mean? Did I get myself into trouble? Because if it's my turn to disgrace myself, my turn to sleep on the duty, my turn to parry the blame, my turn to disappoint the people, what does my turn mean? If it's your turn to make the country great, then you start to rearrange yourself and start asking yourself, who are the people who can help me execute my mission? And what are the guarantees that are contained in the Constitution? When I went to Eagle Square on that windy day and I took that oath of office, what did I sign up for? And am I living up to that? Ignore my voice. Don't worry, I'm my opposition. I want you out. I want to come in there. So that I'm not pretending. But I am not the one who needed to tell you that our schools need to be safe. I'm not the one who needed to tell you that you need to command your armed forces and boost their morale. And I'm not the one who will tell you that when you are choosing the leadership of your armed forces, try not to lose hundreds of generals in one memo and wipe out several generations. Try as much as possible to watch out the value you gain when you are spending so much billions in the name of security and defense. Try to know what is happening in the districts, communities where your people are. Try to relate with governors as members of the Council of State, not as potential defectors to your party.
Right.
And try to work with them to see that from the level of divisional police officers, if you go to police divisions, or which there is almost one for every local government, go to the one in your local government and check whether there is any investment in the police divisions.
Right.
That shows to you that there's a commander-in-chief that wants the police to be more effective.
Okay, that's quite the tall order, but for want of time, Prince, we're going to have to leave the conversation here for now. Thank you so much for
Thank you, and God bless Nigeria. We should not lose hope. A bad government can be voted out, but a good country, Nigeria is. God bless Nigeria.
Amen to that.